Just a moment. Okay, I think we are live. Hello, everyone. Just a moment. I think my your audio doesn't work. Hold on, it's on my side. Just a moment. Okay, does this help?
Hello.
Okay, does this help?
Can everyone hear me? Hello. Hello,
Okay.
hello, hello. Can everyone hear me? Yes.
Okay.
Hello, well, we got to wait
Wait,
until
wait, wait,
somebody
wait, wait,
tells
wait.
us whether or not they can
Okay.
hear me. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay, perfect. Awesome. So we have quite a few things we want to go over here. So let's get to it. I think all of you, or most of you, know why we're here, which is for Uranian astrology. We're enthusiasts and aficionados, and we offer yes, we offer a free app, we offer free classes, we offer this is a passion project. I don't think people realize that we're very passionate about the fact, and we we express the sentiment of a lot of people who have been involved in astrology for a long time. It can become frustrating. It's you're chasing in circles and all of this addition and a lack of clarity and a vague language and nothing very specific. And Uranian astrology has offered us respite from all of the vague answers. It's given us clarity where we didn't see that with other astrology. And that's part of why I'm here. That's one reason. And the other reason was what I had been taught in Uranian astrology, as well as some other people who had taken it, is actually not the way the astrology works. And we've been able to prove that. And I think that, you know, the world is in trouble right now. And a lot of people are trying to find answers and get an idea of a direction for where to go, some kind of foothold on what is their best chance and their best opportunity right now. And we have a lot of students who are working at their own pace, and we recognize that. And we're letting them. We're realizing, listen, this is one of those things you cannot teach this in a huge class and seminar and have 100 people and expect everybody's going to get it. And the one thing that consistently we have seen over and over and over again, and the results of our study, and we've asserted it, is the only way to teach and to prove the astrology is by using the charts of our students, using the charts of people that are dead or absent or famous, or even the events that are going on in their lives. It's not really teaching anyone. Nobody's actually learning from this. By the way, we have a lag. We have a real lag. I don't know if anybody else is aware of that. Are you sharing my or am I sharing my screen with you? I think that's the problem, actually.
Not yet, not yet.
Yeah, that's probably the part of it. Okay, we forgot to do that part. Well, at least we're clear.
Okay.
Yeah. So the point, that we're trying to make is our passion project is to make sure all of you learn the astrology. Our passion project is to not keep all of you confused and, blubbering around and trying to figure that out it's really to share this information and to share this knowledge. And like I said earlier, the results of our study and everything that we've done and everything that we've tested in the past 2 years, which is something I have said from the beginning, by the way, is that everyone is going to learn best by using their own chart and their own life events.
Yeah, because
Oh,
it does
Linda,
get
hi.
personal. You have to be able to answer to the chart. You have to be able to answer to the personal stuff on the chart. Yeah,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
And nobody, yes, and nobody can answer to personal stuff in their chart better than you. You cannot tell me about what happened with Jay-Z and Beyonce. You can't tell me about when so and so got arrested, what happened when Julian got out
Exactly,
of jail.
exactly. What you
Yes,
were thinking back then, what you were
yes.
experiencing back then.
Unless those people want to come on and answer. And listen, it's a great thing to just give a video as an example. But the thing about Uranian astrology, unlike other astrology, is that there is no one size fits all. A sun moon midpoint or half sum in Jay Z and Beyonce's chart is going to land in different places than where it's going to land in your chart. And it's going to have different meanings. And not every sun moon is a marriage or a partnership. Some sun moon relationships are things that don't work out. What you're reading in a chart, and this is the specificity of the Uranian astrology, oftentimes you're reading the wishes and the desires of the person's chart, and you're not accepting. This is why the clarity, you're not accepting, listen, the failure of their desire or the lack. It's written in there. Just because you see things that look like, hey, this is going to work out, doesn't mean it's going to. And just because you see a bunch of things that are terrible, remember, if you're worrying and you have health concerns and things are going on, what do you think is going to show up? You're going to the doctor, you're lying awake at night, you're looking for medication, you're going through all kinds of experiences. What do you think is happening? You don't think that that's going to show in your chart, even if you're fine or you just need to adjust your diet? Isn't that the point of the astrology? Is to help you to understand and to see the things that you don't really see and don't really understand? We've been saying this for a very long time. The entire practice of astrology is theoretical. And the only way we can prove that astrology is real is by having us test it out in all of your charts. Proving what we believe happened consistently with rich and famous and dead and absent people is not as good a way to prove the astrology, not only to the world in general, but to you, the student. If you're out here trying to find out what is going on in your life, what good is it for us to keep telling you? The whole point is to teach you so that you can get to this skill set, this level. That's the point of the app, is to make it easier. The app cuts through a lot of work in Uranian astrology. We designed it to make it go faster. We, in terms of the workload, to be able to move a little bit faster. That was the triple pattern idea. But remember, the time consuming part is to analyze everything and to really learn the rules for planetary pictures. So, on that note, we have students that have questions right now, and we've been trying to go over their chart. And these are questions that are very general and kind of basic questions that other people have as well. So, we're going to go through a couple of these questions and do this with our students live, because this is really what this is about. And this is really how we're able to prove the work. And we can't say that enough, and we can't do it enough. The more events that people have, the more concerns, the more predictions. This is how we establish proof. And the efficacy of Uranian astrology is either we can consistently evaluate and analyze what's going on in people's lives, and they can respond to that. And then we can move forward and see if we can manage to see the outcome of whatever their concern or their focus is. So, on that note, what we're going to do is we're going to pop up our students' charts. And this is not any one of our students' charts. This is today's chart. So, Selena, you're up first because you were up at 4:30 in the morning. So, we're going to get rid of you. Not that we want to throw you out, but we do want to send you to bed as quickly as possible. Okay. Hi, Linda. I see Pisces lady there. Linda started our first broadcast with us in the beginning back in 2008, June of 2008. All right. So Selena asked a question, which I'm going to read the question the uh, from the class that she left. I think that it's best if we just read the question. And her question was, oh, wait, I moved past it. I went a little too far. Hold on. Give me a second here. Her question was she'd like to know if she's going to have a halfway decent career writing erotic fiction, which personally I think she's joking. I think she really wants to know what her career should be. And for anybody who's looking at your career options, there's a job, but your vocation, by the way, this is the importance. This is where we see the importance of making sure that you've rectified your chart. The ascendant moves 2 degrees every 4 minutes, and the meridian moves 1 degree every 4 minutes. So these are very fast moving angles, extremely fast. And your meridian ascendant midpoint is your inner vocation. If you've read your rule book, and if you've looked at this, I'm sorry, it's supposed to be over here. That your meridian, Pluto, and the inner vocation to Zeus. But wait a second, let's go to meridian ascendant. I didn't do this right. Such a terrible typist. Okay. This is truly your inner vocation. The meridian Pluto, it goes to your inner vocation too, but this is it. And the reason this is it is the meridian in Uranian astrology, the meridian is the highest, well, it's in every bit of astrology, the highest point of horizon at where you're born. But as far as the definition, it's always what the soul is aspiring to. In accordance with Alfred Witte, this is the soul's aspiration. It's the highest point in the horizon because this is what we are always reaching to, striving to. The ascendant is your location. So the meridian ascendant midpoint in every single person's chart, providing that it's been properly rectified, is where am I going in this place? That's the question that this answers. Do you see the definition here? And do people understand this is why that is what that means? This is the actual question here. Now, we're not going to go through Alfred Witte's rules for planetary pictures and add this is what it means. Some deductive reasoning is important. And the more that people meddle, this is what they mean when they say too many cooks spoil the broth. If we start just adding our own definitions here, We're stripping away at the original work. And the only reason we've gotten as far as we have come to this point has been because we've gone back to the original work. We don't want to play too much with these definitions. This man worked very, very hard to do what he's done, and we have seen this work over and over again. If everybody looks at their meridian ascendant midpoint, they're going to see, and don't forget when you go there, use the app. This was the whole point of making the app. When you get to the meridian ascendant midpoint, which by the way, you should see, Selena, that Kronos is right here on your meridian, sitting right there, and that your ascendant is sitting right at the Aries point. What's over here and over here? Okay. So it hasn't occurred to you that the field that you're working in is probably a good field for you to get a degree and stay in. I mean, you've said you love to argue. This would be benefiting from people's problems and restriction. Yeah. If you come to your midpoint stories and you look at your midpoint stories and you go through all of these, it's going to tell a variety of stories about the history of how you got here because it's taken you your whole life to get to this point. In there, if you go through all of these, you will find that intuitively you have known to do this. You just you were picking and choosing and doing other things because that seemed easier in terms of getting money at the time. That's how you made decisions. Like, I can make money doing this right now. I can make money doing this right now. But as far as a goal, a long term goal, and to pursue education and pursue a field that you want to be in, and I really don't say this to a lot of people, law is for you. I try to deter a lot of people from going to law school, as do a lot of lawyers I know. But you're in with a group of attorneys that would almost guarantee you work right after, like while you're going to school and as soon as you get out of school. And it's something you love and it can be lucrative, more lucrative than what you're doing right now. Do you want to write? Yes, you'd like to, but you really can't bring yourself to sit down and do it the way you can bring yourself to sit down and pursue and look into other things that you're more interested in. Like, you're joking, but there's some truth to it. In your head, like, if in the perfect world, you'd be a lawyer, you'd have a little side business and you'd write, a book every couple of years because you like to be well-rounded. Instead of going to school and having all these other responsibilities and things you've taken care of. But law would actually be a very good career for you. And intuitively, you've really known this. I think your entire life there was something intuitively telling you, go to law school, study law, go to law school. And then there was the other voice, I can't afford it, I can't do it, it costs too much money, I won't get in, maybe I'm not smart enough. All of the negative, self-talk. Does that sound accurate to you? Stay in the field you're in. Because if there's something that actually does get to you, injustice gets to you. You really shouldn't. Yeah. Yeah. Well, once you started working with attorneys, you realized you don't need to be brilliant. You just need to read and remember what the hell it is you read. So I think that there was a lot of negative self-speak for years, and you should go to law school. I don't know, you know, what you studied so far, but all you need is a bachelor's and, the LSAT. And usually I do. I usually tell people you don't want to be a lawyer. You don't want to be a lawyer. Ask I'll get them on the phone with a bunch of lawyers I know. Yeah, well, you can call it homework. In some cases people love reading. Like some of the casework is case study is very interesting. So, all right, listen, I like you and all, but you got up at 4:30 in the morning and you need to go to bed. So, I'm gonna go talk to other people unless you've got a question. Well, it's also it's finding that little nugget, or that little kernel of information that saves the day. That piece of information that the other side is trying to bury. Oh, okay, good. Would you do have coffee? Oh, there you go. A little caffeine and the promise of suing people and battling injustice, and she's all raring to go. Not everybody is meant for this work, but you're in a very good situation. This. She does this and this right here. She's got a little, you see this? This moon Neptune, it's her emotional go-to. When things are not good, this is part of her karmic thing, is to learn this. Is she goes back and forth with just negative stuff. Like, instead of intuitively feeling that something is good for her, all of a sudden, all of the feelings that she had about something being good is now, catastrophic. Why did she ever get herself involved? There's a lot of negative self-talk with her. Look how close these all play to each other. And because of where they are in terms of her meridian ascendant. Okay, so let me give you an example. Her positive self-talk is, I'm a leader. I'm a leader. I know how to lead. I know how to get things done. I'm organized. I'm a hard worker, and I'm leadership material. Her negative self-talk is, I can't do this. That's too much work. Nobody's ever going to give me that opportunity. What if I blow this up? The thing is if you pursue anybody who has a yud, if they really work at it and really pursue it and they overcome it, it works out for them. It's just that the path is riddled with a lot of pitfalls. That's, I think, why the yud, saying that we have a yud and saying that it's the hand of God or the finger of God is really to say there's going to be a lot of pitfalls, but if you really stick to it, you're going to come through it. See what she's saying? That's where she changes and goes back to faith. This, by the way, establishes why we need to look at everything in a chart. It's not just one thing. In fact, your career, you don't come to a career because of one simple thing in your chart. There has to be multiple factors, especially if it's something that you're meant to do. You don't need to learn how to argue logically. You need to learn how to argue legally. That's what law school is. Law school teaches you the importance of a legal argument. It's like, what is the legal argument that is going to win? Can you occasionally, you know, get a judge to be emotional or no, you can, but a lot of lawyers will tell you that's very risky to try to tap into the judge's emotions. A jury, I mean, if you're doing criminal trials or you're doing personal injury trials and you got a trial by jury, sure, you can tap into the juror's emotions. But every lawyer I've ever known will tell you it's very risky to try to tap into the judge. The judge may see through it and eat you alive in a courtroom. That's why have a great legal argument. Stick to the best legal argument because ultimately the judge has to decide based on the law. It's not, and you know this, justice has nothing to do with it. What does the law say? Well, yeah, that's the moving parts of the law. It's different elements of the law. Well, when somebody tells me that it's hard to drown out negative self-speak, this is why I tell everybody this is the importance of a really strong personal and spiritual discipline. I don't care if you're the best astrologer in the world or the best lawyer in the world or the best business person in the world or the best scientist in the world. Every one of those people has some sort of personal discipline where they focus or they meditate or they pay attention to or focus on what it is they're trying to accomplish. They draft lots of, beginning and middle and end versions of what it is they're trying to do. They go over every little detail. This is the point of a personal and spiritual discipline and that kind of focus. And I think that everybody needs that. We all have a tendency to sink into thinking the worst or feeling like the worst, that fear that, the worst may happen to us, every single person. Yeah, every single this is the point of a spiritual discipline and positive affirmations daily. Everybody needs a personal fight song that gets them up and gets them going and gets them raring to go and ready to tackle whatever it is that's in front of them. And I can tell you because I've met a lot of powerful people in my life and famous people. Even famous and powerful people have doubts. They power through. Somebody who has to do public speaking and they hate doing public speaking, they will practice their speech over and over and over again until they've got it memorized. Why? Because it's something that they feel like I can't blow this. I hate public speaking. What if I get nervous? So what do? They practice. They focus. Whatever your goal is, put it in front of you. Focus on it. Plan it. Research it. Make it part of you. The app, I wanted to do this for a good 12 years before it happened. I worked 12 years to find somebody who could do an app, an astrology. And let me tell you something. You want to talk about kissing a lot of frogs in life. There are so many frogs in the world of astrology, and they do not turn into princes. They just turn into toads. Okay. Oh, you're going to be a broke lawyer. You trying you want to argue in front of the Supreme Court to make abortion legal again? You're going to be working for a not-for-profit agency for like now or something. You, you should focus on staying where you're at. See, this is where your business plan goes awry. Okay. And actually, the amount of years that it would take to get a case like that to the Supreme Court, plus that particular case is way too political. I don't think that that's a legal win. That's a political win. Yeah, but that ultimately, that's where you have to have a little bit of wisdom of what the world is actually about. The abortion issue in front of the Supreme Court would never be a legal win. That's a political win. In fact, as it turns out with the court that we have right now, anything in front of the Supreme Court right now is going to be a political win or a political loss. The court's been stacked. So that's another issue. All right. Let's see. She would have she would have gotten her first gig or tried to find her first gig about 18 years ago to 20 years ago. In 2000 and what? What did she say? 18 to 20 years ago. There you go. See, this would have been over here. And this really was a maneuver to make more money. The entire the entire maneuver to get into law was I'll make more money doing this. Well, look. And the thing is, the type of law that you're working in right now, think about it. It's you're working with people where big corporations are leaving people broke. So, do you kind of understand how this works? That it has a positive and a negative energy in your chart. You just have to learn how to harness it. This is another reason why I would tell you to stay where the hell you're at. And even right now, as I'm telling you this, everything I'm telling you, you know that what I'm telling you is 100% true. Like intuitively, this is what you believe. Like, you know what? I should stay where I'm at. I'd make really good money. I like what these guys are doing. They're helping people. That's an injustice. I'd have an automatic job. They'd probably support me while I'm going to school. So there's a whole conversation intuitively that you've already had and you're still having. And I don't understand like trying to go to business or whatever. Like seriously, get yourself in your legal classes. You've already did paralegal courses. Do you know how many law school graduates 3 years in they don't know how to research law? You're way ahead. So you get your BA. Let me tell you something. A law degree in your position is more helpful than you think. If they had someone doing your job who had a law degree, that's a whole different conversation because that's where you can truly manage a firm. Yeah. You might want to put your feelers out and find out who your biggest supporter is over there and buddy up to them and start talking to them about going to school. There's your referral letters too. Your law school referral letters should come right out of your law firm. All right. Do you have any other questions? Well, I know lawyers that look for work, and if you've looked in the boards and you look for work in law, you know that almost every position that they have in law they want, and they're very specific. They're looking for people with 3 to 5 years experience. They will look for a litigator with 3 to 5 years experience. So you come in there with 10 years experience, they're not interested in hiring you. You're already with a firm where they know what your experience, what your years are. You can be placed where you're at. You're welcome. All right, you got any other questions? All right. Well, you guys know where to find me. It's not like you people don't know where I am. Okay. So, all right. Well, I'm glad you like it. Again, anybody who's looking for their career stuff, start with your meridian ascendant. If your chart has been rectified, start with your meridian ascendant. You can go to the meridian Pluto and the Zeus, but start with the meridian ascendant because the meridian ascendant is always going to tell you where you're going in this place. And the meridian in a transit means at this time, in this moment. So, yep, there's the benefit of the server. You know what? We're going to get to our next chart, best yet. But before we do that, I want to talk about the server. Everybody who's trying to join the server, guys, we're not here in front of our computers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you come and join the server, we will get to you when one of us is awake or we see it. We'll go and answer, and then you're not there and you don't answer us back. Sometimes you have to wait a day. or a couple of hours. We certainly don't admit people to the server during the show. In a live show, we're busy, we're in the middle of something. So, we message people privately. If you try to join the server, we'll send you a private message, ask how we can help you, and get you ready because we're going to need to talk to you. So get a headset on when you're ready to talk to us, get a headset on so we can test your headset and how clear you are. And don't use a cell phone. You need to have a computer. We need to test how good your headset on your computer is. So we know we're going to be able to speak to you, which is very important. All right. So did Bastiat make it? Crystal, you around, honey? Bastiat? Da 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 da. All right, we can get to Raji first. She's not answering. Raji, I just spoke to you a couple of days ago. Oh, she is there. All right, we'll go back to her. She was just a little slow typing. There you go. So, your question was any standout victories or obstacles headed in your way? And your biggest obstacle right now is going to be about understanding where you're being intuitive and understanding where you're deluding yourself. That's actually a constant obstacle for you. The other thing is trying to get yourself centered as far as stable employment. You're struggling with that. And this is like it's coming in and out and in and out and dribs and drabs. And this has not been good for you. It's also not good for your spirit. So if there's a victory, I think the victory is going to come. You're definitely someone who has to have the discipline that I was talking about. You need a spiritual discipline. You have a lot of mystical things going on in your life, but you have issues with people that are close to you. You have a lot of karma, and you can, out of the middle of nowhere, you can be made an enemy for nothing you've done. Like people can turn on you, or people will do dirty things to you. So these are definite obstacles. As far as a victory, the victory is for you to learn to focus and pray and meditate and clear your field, your energy field of people that are no good for you. You have to learn to say no to having people around you that are just not the right energy for you. You're very sensitive to energy. And if you're around negative people or angry people or deceptive people or just people who have no goals, it's not the right fit for you. You need to be around people who empower you, who lift you up, who work with you on how to get you work. You need to be around people who work with you and talk you through your problems and your distractions and help you come out of the pitfalls that you end up falling into. This is something that you have to have. And if you don't have this, you start to spiral downward. So the victory is in really learning how to master that discipline and focus. Because if you do that, honestly, you have the chart of a person who can have great success in life. But this is going to be up to you. A lot of people don't have the particular problem that you do in as far as they can be around whoever they can be around and they'll have whatever luck they're going to have because That's just the way life works for them. You are not that person. You have to really watch yourself around people and stay away from people that are no good for you. Like, honestly, if somebody knocks on your door and they have their hand out waiting for you to help them and they don't have anything for you, this is not somebody for you. You need to work and establish in your life healthy partnerships with your family, healthy partnerships with your friends, healthy partnerships with even a lover. You have to have these relationships. That's how you will end up thriving in life. Does this make sense to you? The lag on these readings. Stop calling me ma'am. You're making me feel old and southern. Two things I don't want to feel, old or southern. All right. Texas stuff. I think you're going to find some work pretty soon. Another little job or gig for you. So keep a lookout for that and that's, by the way, is where you're going to find your work, is in a kitchen. Stick to what you love. Yeah, it's a southern thing. One of my friends who's southern, she always, whenever she talks about me, she always refers to me as Miss Anna. That's another southern thing. I know all about it. Stick to what you're doing. The chef work and working in a kitchen, it's for you, and you should stick to it. In fact, you should see if you can't get into some sort of culinary school or work under some chef somewhere. Get a job in a kitchen somewhere. You find the right chef that you can work under, you'll learn a lot and you'll do very well too. And Texas is a state, they love their meat. They love their food. Texas truly loves to eat. Do you have any other questions? As we going to get to Raji and then we're going to wrap up the show. Oh, actually, this was something that here, a couple, I think a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month ago. Here, look, maybe about a month ago, we were looking at her chart and we were talking through some of the things that were going on in her life. Okay. So I was asking her, what do you like to do? And she's telling me she likes to cook. She likes to cook. This is something she likes to cook. So I said, "Hey, let's look and see if you have this in your chart." So Sun, Pluto, Chronos, right? So, all right. Now, take a look at her chart and take a look at what's happening in her chart in this Sun Pluto. And then, because what Ruth has taught us too, see the Chronos? So this is the Sun Pluto midpoint, and it goes to Neptune. Here's the Sun Chronos. But look, it's equidistant. So here's her Sun Chronos that goes to her node, and here is her Sun Pluto. And where's her Sun Pluto now? Because for her, this has been about finding a job, whatever job. This has always been about finding a job, whatever job. This is her opportunity. See this Mars Saturn with the Uranus? Because of the way the Sun, Pluto, and the Chronos lay in her chart, do you see? That it shares an access point. Do you guys, does everybody see this or do you not see this? But we did this was probably about a month ago, and we were sitting there just playing with her chart, going through her chart, and I was like, "Oh, look at that. It does line up. It's here and it's there. And look at where the Admetos is coming to now. As the Admetos has been moving through here, and by the way, this even aligns with like as a karmic thing. See the Chronos and the Hades? Cooking is dirty work. It's first of all, it's very hard and it's very hot and it's very dirty. So she has the Hades, the Chronos, but she has the Sun, the Chronos, the Sun, the Pluto. And this is something that she falls back on. And she just didn't think, she was like, well, I like to do it. Linda, you're leaving? Linda, you need to give me a call. I just now remembered that I was supposed to call you a couple of days ago and I didn't. Calling me tomorrow evening after 7 would be great. I'll be free after 7 tomorrow. Prior to 7, I will not be free though. Okay, let me draw the lines.
No, no, I mean, can you use the app to draw the lines?
No, not as a single thing. Like watch here. Maybe we could do this. Oh yeah, you know what we can do? Just a second. It has to be a triple pattern though. That's where it's going to screw up. So here's the natal Sun Chronos. Okay. And then let's try the Sun Pluto. Now, do you see
Yeah.
how the natal Sun Pluto and Sun Chronos line up? The other thing is this. I'm telling you, I've owned a restaurant. Hades, Chronos, you can be revered and they love you, but it is hard and dirty and difficult work. If you were working in a kitchen, you're hidden. The restaurant is typically out front. The chefs are hidden in the back. It has all of the markings of Hades, Chronos. Great chefs are revered. Whenever they make a dish, they want them to come out into the middle of the restaurant. People applaud them, but it is hard, dirty, and difficult work. She's popping off shrimp heads right now. Hard, difficult work. Nobody wants to sit there cleaning shrimp. How about squid? How about squid? Anybody ever clean squid? I used to have to clean squid for our entire family for Christmas Eve dinner for the seven fishes. So there's squingili and calamar, and you're talking about having 25, 30 people over. So it would take hours. It's horrible. Okay. See, I wish we had a single line. That's why here, look, watch. This is how you kind of got to look at the, and this is her issue. She goes back and forth from thinking she can do it, believing she can do it, wanting to do it, to I can't do it. It's too much. Where am I going to get a job? She has the same thing that Selena does. But if there was something she could do, if she could just walk in and guarantee herself a job, that would be it. Not everybody loves to cook. I know that it's a trend, and some people are getting into it. A lot of people got into it during COVID. Not everybody loves to cook. As proof of that, look at all of the processed food that you can buy and just stick in a microwave or heat up in the oven. Everybody likes to eat, but not everybody likes to cook. I think it's a good field for you. See, this is a little bit off, but look at her meridian ascendant right there. That's the one that matches up and is perfect. And if you look at Sun Pluto, that's to feed the body. Oh, nutrition. She has to learn this too for herself, for her own health benefits. Do you have any other questions? You should stick to food. Just like Selena should stick to law, you should stick to anything that involves food and you'll be fine. I'm trying to see if she has any other questions before we move on to Raji. Raji Raj. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. You can't spend too much time in the rules for planetary pictures. Would you agree with that, Nice? Where'd Nice go? Did I lose Nice now too?
I'm here.
Stick to
Sorry.
your,
Someone was at the door. Yeah, but
yes,
yeah, exactly.
stick. Stick to your food stuff. And all of you students, I'm telling you, there is no too much time to spend in the rule book. The more time you spend in the rule book, the more you're going to commit a lot of these things to memory. But
Yeah.
there are some basic things, some very basic things like Moon Venus is love, Meridian Ascendant, vocation. Mars Saturn can be to obtain a job, but also to lose a job, and it can also be a death. Okay? We're about to talk about Jupiter Pluto because everybody wants to know about luck and money and finance, and Raj wanted to know in his situation. That was his question. Okay, there we go. Oh wait, I was doing this. Okay, this was before Raji got here. So Raji, I believe that when I talked to you this week, I pointed out to you that you're having Pluto, your directed Pluto, come to your Jupiter, but you have Jupiter Pluto natally. Okay. And money has been something that has challenged you. You've been like pursuing money, chasing money rather than having money come to you. So, okay, Submarine Romanian. I spoke to you a couple of days ago, right? Let me work with Raji and I'll be with you in a few minutes. Okay? Anyway, Raji, because you have this natally, and typically it's better for Pluto to cross your Jupiter than Jupiter to cross your Pluto. Because Pluto crossing your Jupiter is telling you that there's going to be a change in your finances, and Pluto, Pluto being the slower planet, it crossing in directions or it crossing in transits has a more positive effect. That positive, life-changing money or really big money, that that kind of thing, that's more so from Pluto aspecting your Jupiter than Jupiter aspecting your Pluto. But in your case, you have them Jupiter equals Pluto. And this is a question that a lot of people have. Jupiter Pluto, by the way, is the big money, the life changing money, the big, powerful, look, change. In your case, you have an illness and an issue, and you're hoping to activate this now as well. It can and should be both things. Okay? When you were concerned and you were like, oh, you were looking at your chart and all you saw was bad things, how did you not see that you have your solar arc coming to this point and you have Venus on your solar arc? So Jupiter, Pluto, Venus means that you have never had an issue in as far as love. You've been surrounded by a family that loves and supports you and by people who love and support you. I'm not talking about being married. I'm just talking about a life where the people that are closest to you, unlike, say, Crystal, who has some people that are close to her that are pretty much, walking around with knives to stick in her back, you've had that benefit. So this is playing out in a double pattern because of the age that you are. Jupiter is going to be sitting over here. If I were you with Neptune, Jupiter, Pluto, and Neptune, I would gamble a little. If you get lottery tickets, this is an opportunity to definitely gamble. Uranus is coming up to this point. When Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto are together and at the Aries point with Venus, just amazingly good things will happen to you and for you. What you have to do is get yourself more focused. Yeah, I know you trade a lot, but you haven't had good fortune. You might be actually working your way into it. Didn't you tell me? Yeah, didn't you tell me that you took a course or something, some astrology course that was specific to financial, like doing financial astrology and trading? Well, you should talk to me about some of your trades before you trade and let me show you how to work some of those in a chart. Well, typically the meridian ascendant would be right here, like Jupiter, Pluto, directly on the sun, and to the meridian ascendant is an indicator of being born with wealth and with Chronos to the sun. Like if you're born around or you grow up around wealthy people or you're born into a family of money, Jupiter, Pluto to the meridian ascendant, sharing an access point, or Jupiter, Pluto to the sun. Because if you're born into money, it's not your money. You know, your parents can always disinherit you. But he has Jupiter, Pluto to the Aries point, which means that he will be known for money at some point. He has to learn how to harness a little bit more of this, how to use Uranian astrology in trading. Like you don't just look at the day, you get the IPO. Well, it's Neptune Poseidon. It's not just Poseidon. These two are going to be attached for some time now. And that actually, it has to do with the world at large and, your perspective as well is people are a little bit confused. There's a lot of very confused people in the world. So Neptune Poseidon is kind of a spiritual illusion, delusion thing happening out in the world to the general population. So where that falls for you, if you're trading, you should be trading using that information. This is really like gambling. I mean, you can go to Vegas and bet on who's going to be president and lay a big bet down. I know people who won big in Vegas on in 2016. They bet because Clinton was the favorite. They went to Vegas and they put a ton of money on Trump. And when they won, they were very pleasantly surprised. Not a lot of people thought Trump was going to win. And Vegas, he was not the favorite in the tables in Vegas or in the gambling joints in Vegas. So the Neptune, listen, Neptune is retrograde now. It's going to move to here. The Poseidon is with the Venus, the Poseidon is, well, those are more spiritual relationships. and spiritual loves, like a profound love and on a spiritual level for something or for people in general. But with Neptune there, it's the illusion, delusion of the world at large. And it's going to keep coming back and forth, and pretty soon Saturn's going to be there. So it's going to be an enormous lesson in the world. Does this make sense to you? You do need to you do need to do a little bit of work on learning how to use the astrology if you're going to trade. And everything you trade has a birth date. You can't trade things based on a transit. You have to trade things by doing the research and finding out the birth date of the IPO, for everything. Well, that's a weird question. I would say your trading's going to work because you're going to refine your skill set more. That's how I think that's going to work out. Well, the IPO is what you need because the IPO is what takes it public and that's how it gets traded. Here's your solar arc. No, it's your chart in general. Look, see where your Saturn is over here? So if you see where your Saturn is, this is in directions, this is moving here. Transiting Saturn has been moving through this whole area for the past couple of years. This whole side, which is all of the things that you bring into the world from your past. Saturn is going to come to right here, and right about here is where it's going to sit stationary before it goes direct again. So this Saturn Chronos with Mars, this is where you're going to really fine tune your skill set in as far as this work and maybe be able to use it to your advantage. Yeah, that's an easy one. Yes, it's health issues. Transiting Neptune to your Saturn or transiting Saturn to your Neptune is usually going to indicate health issues. When you have a triple pattern for Saturn Neptune, it's going to indicate a long-term health issue. And we're going to find Saturn Neptune to the Aries point next year, and that's really going to be a sick world. Well, refine yourself as a trader. But let's face it, if you're trading on Wall Street, that's gambling. Art dealing would actually work because you have Venus to the Aries point. Jupiter, Pluto, Venus to the Aries point definitely indicate trading in art and being successful with it. You should have seen that in your natal report. This can also be that, the idea to create a game, to have fun. Well, the field, being a trader, the energy is awful. I think that it's really hard to be around people whose focus is money. Like if their number one focus is money right now, I think it's very difficult for people who have a spiritual sense. It's difficult for them to be around people like that right now. Money has, like, we all need it to live, but money and the way money is used has become a real problem in the world. And this, pushing everybody and to have these influencers that are really pushing you to buy things and to try things and to do this. They're just mouthpieces for corporations, and everything is about sell, 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 and pushing us to buy things and, you know, making products that don't last and pushing people to update all of their things, their computers and their phones and their cars and their homes and their living room sets and their appliances and their clothing and their shoes and their eyeglasses and their haircuts and their wardrobe and their makeup and their hair. That's not a good energy. It's promoting vanity, and it's ignoring all of the people in the world who don't eat or suffer from the textile industry and poisoning our water. People who work for pennies on the dollar. I mean, come on. It's a terrible energy to be around. When people are focused on making money and they have a goal with that money to do good, like raising money for education and actually spending it on education, raising money to feed people and actually feeding people good food. If your focus is raising money or getting money to help other people, it's a different energy than raising money to be rich or to push the market, which is to make the rich richer. That's a separate kind of negative energy. I think things are going to change for you. You just need, look, you need to work a little bit more. See this Mercury Poseidon? You need to do the same thing that everybody else needs to do. You need to focus. You need to meditate. You need to get yourself centered, get a plan, and get a discipline and make it happen for you. And remember, if you're trading in things that are good for the spirit, it's going to be better for you. You have to be careful because of your chart. You can't be playing around with things that are no good for you. See this? Be careful who you have around you. Watch this proximity to Hades and to this, which are closed corporations that limit you. You have to be careful about that. You got any other questions? You and I need to talk, like, maybe tomorrow evening or later on this week, and we'll go over a couple of things in as far as trading and art and why you need to do those things. All right. And what you need to focus on, where you're going to benefit. This is this is a period in your life where you really need to maximize the good benefit of these planets. So you need to get yourself truly focused and disciplined. And this is a period where you can grow and benefit. Remember, these two things are together. The third Saturn is coming over here. When these three Saturns align, this can be something very good for you because Saturn has a represented, it does have a representation for career by itself as a planet because a career is long term, Saturn, a lifetime, things of a long duration. All right, now let me see. Some Rarian. I spoke with you a couple of days ago. And you didn't hear. You didn't mention that you were here tonight and wanted me to do your chart, so I didn't put your chart up. I had asked everybody on the server. Let's see. Here we go. I know you gave me your data because if I recall, I did your chart. I went over a few things. So here it is, right? I found it. Okay, I found it. Just give me a second here. And then after this, we're going to close it out. And we're going to call it a night. Okay. So we're going to have you look at a blank screen for a minute while I input this gentleman's data. Just give me a second. By the way, typically, if you want your chart reviewed, we need you to get in touch with us earlier. Okay. And you just sent me data and I lost the spot where I had found your data. Don't text me. Yeah, don't text me during a live stream. I had it all set. By the way, that's not how you input your data in this app. You have it reversed. You're inputting, I hope you're not inputting your data like that in the app. You have the month and the year reversed. Hold on one second. Okay. All right. Back to the right window. There we go. Okay. So this is your chart, and your chart needs to look like this. If your chart doesn't look like this, it's because you're reversing the month and the year. So when I spoke to you a couple of days ago or last week, I said to you, I explained to you that the thing that I had seen is that the most standout thing is that there had been a separation with you and a young lady, and you had confirmed that there was a separation because you had to leave and that it wasn't school. Okay. Now, the question you had asked was specific, your focus was specific to your health, correct? And then I also had said to you that your issue in as far as having illness and problems, this was something that this was going to be something that was happening for you this year. But this this particular aspect that you have natally in your chart, this is the thing that you have to watch out for. You have to make sure that you don't end up throwing away whatever good things you have by not resolving your health issues. And your health issues are within the realm of your power to resolve. You have to eat better, take better care of yourself. You have to sleep right. You are not a person who cannot eat the things that are right for you, have the amount of physical exercise that you need that's right for you, and you have to be very, very careful about being extremely clean. Does this make sense to you? Do you understand that you will subject yourself to infections and illnesses and flus unless you keep yourself and your home very, very clean? The other thing that you need to do for your own benefit is get into and I say this for everyone, get into a discipline that benefits you, where instead of being focused and worried about, being sick or having problems, you focus a daily meditation and have a daily discipline that's focused on resolving and on being grateful. Focus on how to achieve your goals. Work and your education have not been easy for you. You can make that easier by this is for everyone. Whenever you have problems, almost every one of us can make our problems lighter simply by developing some kind of a healthy discipline and meditation that helps us to focus on what we need to focus on, which is good, not focusing on the problems. The more people put their attention on the problems that they have, the bigger those problems get. You're supposed to shift your focus to the solutions, not the problem. Don't stay in the repetition of you have a health issue. You're separated from your family. Good. And do it daily, especially the meditation, the positive meditation. Get up, clean, burn incense, clean your home, bathe, shower, get out into the world, exercise, breathe fresh air. Try to take care of yourself. I think that this is going to be a challenging year for you, but you're going to grow and learn a lot. And you may actually separate from the people you're with. Maybe you're going to go back home. probably within the next 18 months. I'm going to tell you that you need an education, one that's going to pay off for you. And don't do anything in IT. Try to do something in building or sanitation or electric, something that's in huge and high demand. I'm not going to lie, you're going to have a rough year. You're going to have a very rough 12 to 18 months. After that, I think things are going to improve greatly for you. But it's going to be a rough, well, it's going to be a rough year, year and a half. When do you finish the master's degree? Everybody all over the world getting an education in 2026, 18 months. There you go. It's hard when you're getting an education. Money isn't the same. So look, when you're done with your education, did you have plans to go somewhere else to leave? Like you're where you're at for your education? Because like I said, I feel like you're going to be leaving where you're at in about 18 months too, and this may make all the difference in as far as why things have been such a struggle. Da, 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 da. Did you Well, I don't think as from what I can tell, I don't think the job will be where you're at. I think the job will be somewhere else. This is when your life is going to change. This is just one of those difficult periods for you. And your health, I think that your health is your concerns over school. Don't worry yourself. Eat right, get plenty of sleep, focus on your studies, stay away from hanging out with your friends, keep the TV and the music off, stay off the internet. You'll make it. They say for every hour of class, 2 hours of study, and you're guaranteed an A. And that's not what you're supposed to do like the night before a test. That's what they mean you're supposed to do all along through class. Not like get your 40 hours in the last 3 days before before finals. Do you have any other questions? Hello. Okay, you know how to get in touch with us. You're on the server. Again, I just want to mention to anybody who's not on the server and hasn't been added, this isn't an automatic add. When you get to the server, you have to wait until either Nice or I see that you're there and we'll message you and get a headset, get on a computer, get a headset. We'll message you and we need to speak to you before we admit you to the server. Okay? So that's a thing. All right.
All
Well,
right.
guys, so listen, we want to thank everybody who came. We appreciate your attendance here. And we're going to be back in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
At 11 p.m. We like the new time. I think it was getting confusing. Midnight was just too confusing for people. They never knew if we meant Friday or if we meant Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
11 p.m. And I think this will work out. And don't forget, if you've enjoyed, what we do, then please remember, hit the subscribe button to make sure that you get a notification for the next time, and share, like, and comment. That's how you can help us out. And we appreciate seeing all of you today, and we'll see you all again, hopefully, in 2 weeks. And thank you all very much. All right, Nice and I are going to be around, but we're going to talk to each other for a couple minutes after this
All
because
right.
we have business. And believe it or not, we are never able to talk to each other. You have no idea how many times we just like send each other messages. It's like,
Yeah.
you okay? You okay? All right, we'll catch up with you, later on this week.
Yeah.
It's it's been pretty frantic for both of us actually the past couple of months.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're around and we're going to keep putting out shows. If there is a subject or a topic that one of you needs clarification on,
Mhm.
it is a great idea to let us know, like today, tomorrow, the next day. Give us a couple of weeks. We'll prepare what we need to prepare. That
Right.
we can answer your question. One of the things we're going to go over in 2 weeks, though, is retrogrades. A lot of people are very confused about retrogrades in Uranian astrology, so I think we're probably going to go over that a little bit
Yeah. Yeah. Great
in two
topic.
weeks. Yeah, okay. All right, so we'll see you all of you guys in a couple of weeks. Thank you all for coming and thank you for your questions and sharing with us, and we appreciate it. Okay?
All
And we'll
right.
see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye everyone.